House will come to order. Members, please take your seats. Head page.
The House is now in session. All persons not entitled to privileges of the floor, please retire to the gallery.
The members will rise and be led in prayer by Senior Pastor Mark Carey, Fellowship Baptist Church, Winchester, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which will be led by the delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this nation in which we live, for the privilege of living in this Commonwealth of Virginia with its history and beauty. And I thank you, Father, for these public servants who desire to serve the citizens of this Commonwealth. And I pray, oh God, that today as they go about governing, that you would grant them civility and mutual respect in their deliberations, wisdom in their decisions, being mindful, Father, that we are ultimately accountable to you, our Creator, to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with our God. May you, gracious and merciful God, endue this gathered body of elected servants with hearts that beat for things your heart beats for. May you direct them in your paths of righteousness for your name's sake. And may they serve this Commonwealth in a way that pleases you. And I pray, Father, they may find joy and peace as they do. For thine, O God, is a kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The members will answer the roll call by indicating their presence on the electronic voting board. Clerk will close the roll.
Mr. Speaker, a quorum is present.
Pursuant to House Rule 3, I have examined and approved the Journal of the House of Delegates for Friday, February 6, 2026. Motions and resolutions under Rule 39 pursuant to the provisions of Rule 40 are now in order. Does the clerk have any announcements or communications?
No communications or announcements. So accordingly, in this first portion of the morning hour, pursuant to House Rule 40, Speaker requests that you use your request to speak button for the agenda items listed for reference up on the voting board.
The delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rise for an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Members of the House, it's my honor to introduce our guest for today's invocation, the Reverend Mark Carey. If you could please stand. Senior pastor of Fellowship Bible Church in Winchester. Pastor Carey is originally from Nebraska and brings with him a strong Midwestern foundation of faith and service. He's a graduate of University of Nebraska and Dallas Theological Seminary. He and his wife, Lisa, raised 4 children and are now proud grandparents. Along with his family, he has faithfully served the Winchester community for many years, providing spiritual leadership, guidance, and encouragement to families throughout the region. We are grateful for his presence with us today and would appreciate a warm house welcome. Thank you.
Welcome, Pastor Carey, and thank you for that lovely prayer this morning. A delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson. Delegate Anderson.
So sorry. Yes, I rise for the purpose of 2 introductions.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, students from the William Mary and chapter of Virginia 21 are with us in the gallery today, and I ask that they please stand for recognition. Oh, maybe they're not here yet. Well, Virginia 21 is a statewide, nonpartisan organization that brings young Virginians together to tackle the challenges of today and tomorrow. The William Mary chapter of Virginia 21 works to amplify the voices of young Virginians. Their work targets many challenges that young people face: college affordability, campus safety, civic engagement, and leadership development. Their success relies on collaboration between student leaders, their college policy experts, government officials, and community advocates who represent all sides of the political spectrum. Their commitment to advocating for policies that will make Virginia the best place to live, work, and pursue an education is inspiring. I hope the House will join me in giving these William & Mary students a warm House welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, we are joined in the gallery today by members of the staff of the Virginia Realtors. If they could rise at this time. There we go. Then we can make some room for some of the other groups to come through. The Virginia Realtors is a statewide trade association representing more than 30,000 real estate professionals across the Commonwealth. Association members are supported every day by talented and dedicated staff who work behind the scenes to strengthen the real estate profession and promote strong communities. The staff of the Virginia Realtors provides essential services to their members, including professional education and training, legal and regulatory guidance, economic and housing research, and advocacy at every level of government. Their work helps ensure realtors are equipped to serve consumers ethically and effectively, while also advancing policies that protect property rights, expand housing opportunities, and support a stable, affordable real estate market here in Virginia. Mr. Speaker, I ask the members of the House to join me in welcoming the dedicated staff of the Virginia Realtors to the Capitol today and thanking them for their continued service with Virginia's housing economy.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Tater.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for two motions.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request that we take up out of order H.R. 42, which is on page 50, and I'd like to speak to that motion.
Clerk will report a resolution.
House Resolution number 42, celebrating the life of Paul Gandy Langford.
Delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Tater.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Paul Gandy Langford was a beloved educator from Virginia Beach schools who inspired generations of young people. In fact, many of his former students are here today with us in the gallery, along with his wife, Mrs. Langford, and I'd like them to rise. I'd also like to highlight that one of his All-Stars former students is our own former delegate and director of Department of Energy, Glenn Davis, who is here. If he could rise. Mr. Langford grew up in Southampton County, graduated from William & Mary, and began his career in education as an English teacher at Bayside High School. He went on to serve as chair of the English department at Green Run High School for over 2 decades before leaving for Cape Henry Collegiate School, where he remained until retirement. Mr. Langford earned a reputation as a passionate educator who built personal relationships with every student, creating lifelong learners along the way. He was a well-rounded instructor, not only sharing his passion for literature, but also teaching life skills like setting a table and the importance of writing thank you notes. He was so beloved that in 2009, a group of his former students established the Paul Langford Fan Club page on Facebook, and today it has hundreds of members who share treasured memories of his compassionate mentorship and infectious enthusiasm for learning. Mr. Speaker, I move the adoption of House Resolution 42 and move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn in the honor and memory of Paul Gandy Langford.
The delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Tater, moves that the adoption of House Resolution number 42, and when the House adjourns today, it adjourn in the honor and memory of Paul Gandy Langford. All those who are in favor shall please rise. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from Henrico County, Delegate McQuinn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today we are honored to welcome the members of the Young Women's Christian League Incorporated to the gallery. I'm asked if they would please stand at this time. The Young Women's Christian League Incorporated is a Richmond-based organization founded in 1959 by 12 young African-American women who recognized the need within their communities and responded with compassion, excellence, and faith. Their founding vision to give their best so that others may thrive remains central to the organization's mission, guided for 67 years by their motto, others rather than self. The League continued to shape young women into compassionate and capable leaders. 3 of the 12 original founders, Lucy B. Jones, Dorothy Hines, and Phyllis Taylor, remain active and continue to provide leadership and wisdom. The organization has grown to 8 active chapters, each selecting service projects that strengthen families and communities across the Richmond metropolitan area and beyond. Over the years, the League work has included partnership with schools, hospitals, youth programs, senior community food banks, and numerous nonprofit organizations. They also participate annually in the RVA Community Thanksgiving distribution and provide education, scholarship, and hand-on support to those in need. They have been recognized by many organizations for their outstanding commitment to service and positive impact. Through all of their work, the Young Women's Christian League remains committed to the value of humility, dignity, service, graciousness, charity, legacy, and to preparing young women to lead with purpose and compassion. I ask if my members would join me in welcoming them and giving them a round of applause for the outstanding work and contributions that they make. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Delegate from Richmond County, Delegate Kent.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today in the gallery from my district are workers from Ocean Harvester, including members of UCFW Local 400 Omega Protein, if they would please rise. Combined, these companies are among the largest private employers in the Northern Neck and represent over 10% of the workforce in Northumberland County, providing resources directly and indirectly around the Northern Neck. They spend millions of dollars every year around the state, including in places like Newport News, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Fredericksburg, Merrifield, Weems, Reedville, Warsaw, and I could go on. These watermen, pilots, boat captains represent more than 6 generations dating back to the 1800s of legacy work on the water. They are proud to work and research and responsibly manage fisheries, and I'm grateful they join us today. I hope it's the pleasure of the House to give them a warm round welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Anthony.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the gallery today, we have students from the Eastern Virginia Medical School at Old Dominion University. If they're in the gallery, I'll ask them to stand. And as you all know, many of you know that Old Dominion University and Eastern Virginia Medical School formally merged on July 1st, 2024, creating the Macon and Joan Brock Virginia Health Sciences, the largest academic health sciences center in Virginia. And the students you see in the gallery are our future physicians studying and training to address regional and statewide health workforce shortages and healthcare access. And this was a record-breaking year for Eastern Virginia Medical School's MD program with over 9,000 applications for about 150 spots. And so the students joining us today represent ODU and Eastern Virginia Medical School's commitment to service, community health, and the patients of the Commonwealth. And I hope you all will join me in extending them a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Torian.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of a motion.
Delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I move that House Bill 677, found on page 56 of the first reading, uncontested calendar, be referred to the House Committee on Appropriations.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Torian, moves that HB 677, found on page 56, be re-referred to the Committee on Appropriations. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. HB 677 is re-referred to the Committee on Appropriations. The delegate from Hampton, Delegate Thornton.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, in the gallery today, we have the Hampton Roads Committee for the 200-plus men. I ask them to stand. Mr. Speaker, the 200-plus men made his debut on September 21, 1997, to devote attention and energy that they have to education, economic development, and community engagement. Some of the activities the 200 plus men engage in is the Brothers to Brothers Camp, where mentees participate in various outdoor activities and straight talk sessions with mentors, and they are prominent black men throughout the community. The Caravan to Richmond, where the African American teens are exposed to legislative processes and meet their state legislators. The 200 plus men Scholars Breakfast, which honors young African American men who are graduating from high school with a 3.0 or high GPA. Since the first Scholars Breakfast on May 16, 1998, more than 7,000 African American males has graduated and gotten that honor. Additionally, the foundation runs the Scholars Academy, which is a mentoring program developed to help young men graduate from high school with skills needed to become leaders in our community. Mr. Speaker, I request that the House members join me in extending a warm House welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. A delegate from Chesapeake, Delegate Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, members of the House, it is my honor today to welcome the awesome Honorable Johnny E. Morrison and his beautiful bride, the Honorable Cynthia Morrison, to the Capitol. If they're in the gallery, would they please stand? Mr. Speaker, Judge Johnny Morrison is the founder of the Portsmouth Adult Recovery Court and a former chief judge of the Third Circuit Court of Virginia. Through his vision and leadership, he helped establish one of the Commonwealth's earliest recovery courts, setting a model that has transformed lives and strengthened communities for more than 2 decades. We are grateful for his service to the people of Virginia and his continued commitment to justice and rehabilitation. It is a privilege to have him in the House, and I ask that you join me in extending them a warm House welcome.
Welcome, Judge Morrison, and welcome the real boss in the House, the elected Portsmouth Clerk of Court, Cynthia E. Morrison, the delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Shin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for the purpose of a motion.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House take up out of order House Resolution 83.
The clerk will report a resolution.
House Resolution number 83, commending Edward Joseph Face.
Mr. Speaker, I move adoption of the resolution, and if I could please speak to that.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have in the gallery with us today Mr. Joe Face and his wife, Melissa, and if they're still up there, I would ask that they please stand. Mr. Speaker, Joe Face has dedicated 46 years of his career to the Commonwealth of Virginia, serving in the State Corporation Commission's Bureau of Financial Institutions. He retired this year in January as the longest-serving commissioner in the Bureau's history. Joe's career at the Bureau actually began almost by chance. While working as a lifeguard one summer, he happened to meet someone from the commission who offered him a job, and he ended up joining the Bureau in 1979 as an examiner. Back when the tools of the trade included things like an adding machine, a manual typewriter, and carbon paper. He spent more than a decade examining banks, thrifts, and credit unions across the Commonwealth before being promoted to deputy commissioner in 1993 and then to commissioner just 4 years later. As commissioner, Joe oversaw the regulation and supervision of more than 35,000 institutions, including state-chartered banks, savings institutions, credit unions, consumer finance companies, mortgage lenders, and brokers. Under his leadership, the Bureau ensured that loan companies and mortgage brokers operated fairly with borrowers and that banks and credit unions safely maintained their deposits. That's the kind of steady, reliable public service that protects Virginia consumers every single day. The 3 SCC judges offered these words as a reflection of Joe's career. Joe's steady leadership over the last 3 decades has been of incalculable value to both consumers and the regulated community. His depth of knowledge and friendship has greatly benefited us as commissioners, 3 of the 15 with whom Joe has served over the last 30 years. Mr. Speaker, Joe is one of the only 2 commissioners to lead this agency in the past half century. He was born in South Carolina and raised right here in Richmond. As a graduate of Douglas Freeman High School, the University of Alabama, as I understand it, they say a thing called Roll Tide, and Central Michigan University. I also happen to have it on good authority that while at Douglas Freeman, Joey, as he was known, was a talented shooting guard, but not to be confused with a defensive guard, and even wore out his right arm playing basketball. He is a devoted family man who met his wonderful wife, Melissa, on a blind date, and his legacy as a commissioner is one of constancy, reliability, and an unwavering commitment to the well-being of Virginia consumers and the success of Commonwealth's banking community. Joe found success with a simple personal mantra. He says, "Consider the facts, follow the law, be reasonable and fair, maintain integrity in all that I do, stay humble, and never forget that I am a public servant." It's my honor to recognize Joe's extraordinary career of public service to the Commonwealth, and I hope my colleagues will join me in wishing him and Melissa a joyful and fulfilling retirement, Mr. Speaker, and I would move passage of House Resolution 83.
All those in favor of adopting House Resolution number 83, commending Edward Joseph Face, shall say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. Congratulations. The delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for another introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are joined by an additional group of students from William & Mary today, and I ask that they please stand for recognition. The Friends Committee on National Legislation is a national, nonpartisan Quaker organization that engages in year-round efforts to advance peace, justice, environmental stewardship, and promise civic learning. The William & Mary chapter works to advance policies informed by their belief that all people are created equal and that all of God's creation has worth and dignity. I hope the House will join me in giving these William & Mary students a warm House welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Chesterfield, Delegate Gartner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I think they're coming in. Joining us today in the gallery is the Virginia Community Health Workers Association. I would ask that they please stand if they're in the gallery. No?
Somewhere around camp.
All right. Anyway, I think they're headed over. For over a decade, the Virginia Community Health Workers Association has served as the backbone organization supporting community health workers across the Commonwealth. The Community Health Workers Association is led by community health workers for community health workers, ensuring that its advocacy, resources, and programs are shaped by the lived experiences and expertise of the workforce they represent. The Community Health Workers Association provides community health workers not only with career opportunities, but with resources, training, advocacy, and support that meets the evolving needs of this essential workforce. Community health workers are trusted community members who serve as a bridge between healthcare systems and the populations that they serve, particularly communities facing barriers to care due to geography, language, culture, or systemic inequalities. Today, the Doula Association of Virginia and many allied organizations joins the community health workers in solidarity, recognizing that their shared commitment to frontline community-based care. The coalition represents the breadth and depth of Virginia's community health movement organizations and workers who understand that health equity requires trusted voices from within the communities. I would ask that this body give them a warm House welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Pursuant to House Rule 30, the journal shall reflect that the following members are away on pressing personal business and are granted leave from today's session: Delegates Bennett, Parker, and Delegate Knight. Clerk will announce the next order of business.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, the next order of business, the second portion of the morning hour, announcement of member requests to move legislation from an uncontested to the regular calendar. There are 3 in that large category of second reading uncontested. Page 19, if you're following along that way, Delegate Seabolt's House Bill 109. Page 22, same category, Delegate Cohen's House Bill 459. And page 32, Delegate Hope's House Bill 1485. All those out of the block over to second regular at the request of Delegate Griffin.
Clerk will announce the next order of business.
The next order of business, first portion, morning hours, member requests for legislation to go by for the day, and if such, motion by the majority leader to effectuate that. There are 4 page on that first category. On page 32, the category of House Bills second regular. Delegate Trans, House Bill 1161, and Delegate McClure's House Bill 524 by for the day at the request of Delegate Tran. Also by Delegate Tran, she requests in that same category, but going forward to page 46, Delegate Singh's House Bill 1095 is by for the day. And then finally, in the commending resolutions towards the back of the calendar, page 53, Delegate Carr's HJ 111 by for the day.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the legislation as announced by the clerk go by for the day.
Delegate from Alexandria moves that the legislation as announced by the clerk go by for the day. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The clerk will announce the next order.
And, Mr. Speaker, the fourth and final portion of the morning hour reserved for member requests for points of personal privilege. Kindly use your request speak button to get into the queue.
Delegate from Chesterfield, Delegate Doherty.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you. Today I rise to honor a Hopewell hometown hero. Last night, Travion Henderson showed a lot of people across the country what a stellar athlete he is as a running back and a kickoff receiver in his first, but certainly not last, Super Bowl. Travion hails from the city of Hopewell and has been a standout student, athlete, and human. He graduated from Hopewell High School with a 4.0 GPA and was named the 2019-2020 Gatorade Football Player of the Year, while helping to lead Hopewell High School to the state title that year. He rushed over 4,000 yards and worked himself into the end zone an admirable 50 times during his high school career. This dedication as a student and an athlete made him a 5-star college recruit, and as he continued his growth at the Ohio State University, where he and his team won the national championship in 2025. Adding to his meteoric rise, he was then drafted by the Patriots, and through continued training and building on the strength of his team, was named as a finalist for Rookie of the Year this year. Helped make his team make it onto the biggest stage of football last night. He was the last person to hold the ball on the final run of the night, showing everyone watching from Hopewell, the Commonwealth, and the country that the scoreboard isn't the be-all, end-all. Your grit, determination, and hard work will shine through brighter, and most importantly, will light the way for more opportunities in the future. We are proud of everything that you bring to our community and Commonwealth, Trayvon, and look forward to all of the ways you will keep showing up on and off the field. Thank you.
The delegate from Sussex, Delegate Waxman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request to return to the first morning hour for the purposes of an announcement.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we had some bad weather the last couple of weeks, and unfortunately that delayed one of the things that is so important here to the General Assembly. I am pleased to announce to everybody tonight, please make sure you get your pants that are a little bit loose and your dresses a little bit loose as well too, because tomorrow will be one of the favorite days here at the General Assembly. The team from Brunswick County is loading up their big stew pot, and tomorrow they'll be cooking and serving Brunswick stew right outside the General Assembly building. Yes, once again, Kevin Pear is going to be our stew master. He will be here. They'll be arriving very early in the morning, lifting that heavy pot up, cooking and stirring all night and all day tomorrow. But please, about at 10:30 tomorrow till noon, they will have a bowl for you outside to please taste. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, you better make sure they get here now. You didn't promise. So when they recruit somebody in the primary against you, you'll know why. The delegate from Henrico, Delegate McQuinn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the point of personal privilege.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and members of the House, during Black History Month, we gather in remembrance, in reflection, and in recognition of those whose courage helped shape the Commonwealth we serve today. Today I rise not only as a legislator, but I rise as a witness to history. I rise as a descendant of sacrifice, and I rise as a living testament to the enduring power of faith, perseverance, and democracy. A significant election occurred on October the 22nd, 1867. African-American men voted for the very first time in Virginia. They did not approach the ballot box with comfort or protection from their neighbors. They approached it under the watchful eye of armed guards. They approached it surrounded by hostility, threats, and violence. They approached it knowing that simply exercising their right to vote could cost them safety or even their lives. Yet they voted. They voted because freedom demanded participation. They voted because citizenship required a voice. And they voted because they believed democracy must be claimed, not simply promised. For these newly freed men, the Emancipation Proclamation signed by President Abraham Lincoln had moved from proclamation to possibility and now to participation. The ballot became their declaration that they were no longer property, but people, citizens of Virginia and citizens of this nation. Reconstruction marked one of the most transformative periods in Virginia's history. African American, newly freed from bondage, stepped into civic life with determination and vision. They built schools where learning had once been forbidden. They established churches that nurtured both faith and community leadership. They elected representatives who helped shape policies that expanded opportunity for all Virginians. Their voices helped reshape this Commonwealth. For me, this history is not distant. It is deeply personal. I recently discovered that my great-great-great-grandfather, Major Allen, was among those African-American men who cast their ballots on October the 22nd, 1867. His vote is recorded and reflected in the Fairfield Magisterial District and also in the library. I can just imagine him walking along with those other men, that polling place with steady resolve. I imagine they had weighted fear against hope. I imagine they believed that their vote could help create a future they would never see, but one he trusted and they trusted would one day arrive. Today I stand in this chamber because he stood in that line. His vote represented more than political participation. It represented courage in the face of hatred. It represented faith in the face of uncertainty, and it represented the unshakable belief that democracy must include every voice. We also know that the progress of Reconstruction faced fierce resistance. Virginia, like much of the South, would later erect barriers through poll taxes and literacy tests and intimidation in an effort designed to silence the very voices that who began to shape a new Commonwealth. But the spirit of those voters that day, it could not be erased. Their courage lived on through generation. It lived in those who marched for civil rights. It lived in those who organized communities and challenged injustice. And it lived in those who continue to vote. And each of us who are in this gallery, each of us who are in this room, even when obstacles were placed in our pathway. And so it lives today. Black history is Virginia's history. Black history is American history. Black history is the story of people who believed in the promise of this nation, and even when the nation struggled to keep their promise. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Suffolk, Delegate Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can we move back to the first morning hour for the purpose of a motion?
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Believe in the back of the gallery. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. Mr. Speaker, I move that we take up out of order H.R. 75, found on page 55.
75 on 55. Clerk will report a resolution.
Mr. Speaker, House Resolution 75, commending Heather Shea Pugh.
Oh, I'm sorry. H.R. 76 on 55.
I apologize. House Resolution 76 now before you would commend the Portsmouth Adult Recovery Court.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the adoption of the resolution and request to speak to the motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, I rise today to present a resolution commending the Portsmouth Adult Recovery Court on the occasion of its 25th anniversary and to recognize its significant contributions to the city of Portsmouth and the Commonwealth of Virginia. Established in 2000 by the Honorable Johnny E. Morrissey, former Chief Judge of the Third Circuit Court of Virginia, the Portsmouth Adult Recovery Court was founded with a forward-thinking vision, one that recognized substance use disorder not solely as a criminal justice issue, but as a matter requiring accountability, treatment, and compassion. This approach initiative at the time was innovative at the time of the creation and has proven to be transformative. For 25 years, the Portsmouth Adult Recovery Court has provided individuals charged with nonviolent substance-related offenses as structured and supervised path towards recovery through rigorous programming, judicial oversight. The court has worked to reduce recidivism, reunite families, and restore individuals to productive participation in society. Mr. Speaker, the 25th anniversary of the Portsmouth Adult Recovery Court marks a significant milestone in the Commonwealth's ongoing effort to promote public safety, recovery, and second chances. Mr. Speaker, it's my honor to formally recognize and commend the Portsmouth Adult Recovery Court and its founder for their dedication, leadership, and enduring impact. For those reasons, Mr. Speaker, I move that we pass House Resolution 76. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All those in favor of adopting House Resolution 76, found on page 55, shall say aye. Those opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. Congratulations. Clerk will call the calendar.
Calendar for today, Monday, February 9th, 2026, for the Virginia House of Delegates. First category, House bills on third reading or final passage. Uncontested calendar block, 19 bills in the uncontested calendar block. They are as follows. House bills 37, 156, 174, 225, 309, 340, 465. House bills 513, 661, 681. House bills 889, 1073, 1176, over on page 6. Continuing third reading uncontested calendar block, House Bill 1247, 1254, 1287, House Bill 1311, House Bill 1325, as well as House Bill 1467. Those bills round out third reading uncontested calendar block.
Shall the bills pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 98, no 0.
Ayes 98, no 0. The bills pass.
Continuing with today's calendar, new category, House bills on third reading regular. House bills third reading regular beginning on page 8 if you're following along that way in the printed copy. Beginning with House Bill 281 now before you, relates to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, noncompliance as defense to action for possession for non-payment of rent.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 64, noes 34.
64, noes 34. The bill passes.
House Bill 338 now before you relates to authority of local governments, service employees.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 35.
Ayes 62, noes 35. The bill passes.
House Bill 369 relates to electric utilities, renewable energy portfolio standards, zero carbon electricity, accelerated clean energy buyers.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 94, noes 3.
Ayes 94, noes 3. The bill passes.
House Bill 452 relates to the practices of radiologic technology, licensure exceptions.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 76, noes 20.
Ayes 76, noes 20. The bill passes.
House Bill 519 relates to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, essential services.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 35.
Ayes 63, noes 35. The bill passes.
House Bill 547 relates to private companies providing public transportation services, employee protections.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 34.
Ayes 63, noes 34. The bill passes.
Over on page 10, we come to House Bill 554. This legislation relates to state officers and employees, state agencies to establish alternative work schedules reporting requirement.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 66, noes 32.
Ayes 66, noes 32. The bill passes.
House Bill 616 relates to the Department of Housing and Community Development, Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, tenant records.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 64, noes 34.
Ayes 64, noes 34. The bill passes.
House Bill 627, now before you, relates to covenants not to compete, healthcare professionals, civil penalty.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 93, noes 5.
Ayes 93, noes 5. The bill passes.
House Bill 693 relates to the Department of Workforce Development and Advancement, Workforce Development Programs, Apprenticeship Program.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 70, noes 28.
Ayes 70, noes 28. The bill passes.
House Bill 783 relates to parking enforcement, issuance of a summons or a parking ticket.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 77, noes 21.
Ayes 77, noes 21. The bill passes.
House Bill 812 relates to regulation of traffic, bicycles, and certain other devices, bicycle signals.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 84, noes 13.
Ayes 84, noes 13. The bill passes.
Continuing House Bills third reading regular, we come to House Bill 819 relating to pedestrians walking on roadways that are part of divided highways.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 88, noes 10.
Ayes 88, noes 10. The bill passes.
House Bill 834 relates to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, fire or casualty damage termination by landlord.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 68, noes 30.
Ayes 68, noes 30. The bill passes.
House Bill 837 relates to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, this time eviction diversion program eligibility.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 35.
Ayes 62, noes 35. The bill passes.
House Bill 855 relates to the Department of Medical Assistance Services Medicaid estate recoveries.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 87, noes 11.
Ayes 87, noes 11. The bill passes.
House Bill 870 relates to the Board of Accountancy licensing requirements, inactive and emeritus status.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, noes 1.
Ayes 97, noes 1. The bill passes.
House Bill 879 now before you relates to the Department of Social Services, requests for records or information concerning applicants for and recipients of public assistance. Public notice required.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 34.
Ayes 62, noes 34. The bill passes.
House Bill 923 now before you relates to protection of employees, stay or pay contracts prohibited, civil penalty.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 35.
Ayes 63, noes 35. The bill passes.
House Bill 1005 relates to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, rental payment methods, prohibited fees.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 35.
Ayes 62, noes 35. The bill passes.
House Bill 1078 relates to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, adverse action by landlord, tenant remedies.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 35.
Ayes 62, noes 35. The bill passes.
House Bill 1102 relates to Renewable Energy Portfolio Standard Program, Geothermal Heating and Cooling Systems Report.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 71, noes 27.
Ayes 71, noes 27. The bill passes.
House Bill 1139 relates to the Board of Medicine, membership, removal of residence requirements.
Delegate from Patrick County, Delegate Williams.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, speaking to the bill.
Delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in opposition to HB 1139. I was told this is a cleanup bill, but this bill does more than that, Mr. Speaker. This bill eliminates the only requirement in Virginia law that physician members of the Board of Medicine represent different congressional districts. That's the only structural guarantee that a doctor from Southwest Virginia has a seat at the same table as a doctor from Fairfax. Why is this representation so important? This is the board that decides who keeps their license after abusing a patient, what gets prescribed in communities like mine drowning in addiction, and what gets done to our children in the name of medicine. Let me put this into perspective. Under the current maps, Republican-held districts represent over 10,000 physicians. That's roughly 40% of the doctors in the state. Under the proposed congressional maps, 10-1, that number drops to 1,029. That is a 90% loss of representation. And this bill says to the people in the last remaining district, my fighting ninth, you're not guaranteed a seat at the table either. So why does this guy care so much about this board? This isn't just about doctors. This is about a pattern. You redraw the maps to dilute voices from the rest of Virginia, then you come back and you strip or suspend the structural protections that were designed to make those voices still matter. If you remove minority representation from every board, every commission, every body in this Commonwealth, you don't have to gerrymander anything because there's nobody left at the table to object. I would ask my colleagues, if this bill isn't silencing the rest of Virginia, then what problem is it solving? I urge a no vote. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 35.
Ayes 63, noes 35. The bill passes.
House Bill 1147 would direct the Board of Medicine and Board of Nursing to require certain licensees to complete bias reduction training as part of their continuing education requirements.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 35.
Ayes 63, noes 35. The bill passes.
Over on page 16, we come to House Bill 646 relating to green warning lights, certain farm vehicles.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, noes 1.
Ayes 97, noes 1. The bill passes.
House Bill 848 relating to Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, material noncompliance by landlord rent escrow relief.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 73, noes 25.
Ayes 73, noes 25. The bill passes.
House Bill 1093 relates to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act. Landlord remedies, tenants' rights of redemption, attorney's fees.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk closes roll.
Ayes 74, noes 24.
Ayes 74, noes 24. The bill passes.
Top of page 17, if you're following along that way, House Bill 1127 now before you relates to the State Corporation Commission toll rate increase, duration, and timeline for review.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 83, noes 15.
Ayes 83, noes 15. The bill passes.
House Bill 1289 relates to professions and occupations, regulation of geologists.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 95, noes 3.
Ayes 95, noes 3. The bill passes.
House Bill 1291 also relates to professions and occupation, regulation of geologists, this time exemptions.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 95, noes 1.
Ayes 95, noes 1. The bill passes.
House Bill 1305 relates to professions and occupations, powers and duties of regulatory boards, disciplinary action, dismissal.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 94, noes 4.
Ayes 94, noes 4. The bill passes.
House Bill 14. House Bill 1408 relates to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act. Landlord remedies noncompliance with rental agreement of victims of family abuse.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 84, noes 13.
Ayes 84, noes 13. The bill passes.
And lastly, in this category, House Bill 1117 relates to the Department of Profession and Occupational Regulation, universal license recognition.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, noes 1.
Ayes 97, noes 1. The bill passes.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, continuing on today's calendar, new category, House bills on second reading uncontested. Second reading uncontested, approximately 36-ish bills in this category, beginning with House Bill 22. House Bill 22 seeks to amend and reenact Sections of the Code of Virginia relating to public institutions of higher education, disciplinary immunity for certain individuals who make reports, Virginia Military Institute, legislation report on education.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 22 simply removes an exemption for VMI that was different from every other institute of higher education, and VMI has asked that we remove the exemption. I move that the bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
Continuing with the block, Madam Speaker, House Bill 100 now before you seeks to amend and reenact Sections of the Code of Virginia relating to payment or delivery of small asset by affidavit. Office of the Executive Secretary to prepare form. Legislation Board Committee on Courts of Justice.
The delegate from Giles, Delegate Ballard.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the House, House Bill 100 simply requires OES to create a standardized affidavit to be used in probating small assets. Hope it's the pleasure of the House to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
House Bill 109, the bottom of page 19, is out of the block over to the regular calendar. Therefore, continuing with the calendar block, we have House Bill 191, which is legislation to amend and reenact Sections of the Code of Virginia relating to victims of sex trafficking, minors, immunity to prosecution for prostitution. Legislation Board Committee for Courts of Justice with amendment nature as substitute.
The delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Converse Fowler.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First, I'd like to move the substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute's agreed to. Delegate Converse Fowler.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, HB 191 seeks to prevent minor victims of sex trafficking from being prosecuted for such offenses. Madam Speaker, I hope that is the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Next up in the block is House Bill 224, which seeks to amend and reenact 3 sections of the Code of Virginia relating to proceedings to establish paternity. This legislation also is the Board Committee for Courts of Justice, this time with line amendments.
The delegate from Arlington, Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the committee line amendments.
Shall the amendments be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The amendments agreed to. Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, members of the body, House Bill 224 makes technical changes to the code establishing paternity. It will be a pleasure to the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third read.
House Bill 237 would direct the Department of Conservation and Recreation to include geographic information systems layer relating to wetlands under the existing floodplains and flooding resilience and protected landscape resiliency categories of the Conserve Virginia program. This legislation report Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources, nature substitute.
The delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The substitute's agreed to. Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. HB 237 strengthens our ability to account for wetland migration in the Virginia Coastal Resilience Master Plan, one of the Department of Conservation and Recreation's primary tools for helping to finance resilience projects in coastal areas vulnerable to sea level rise. Madam Speaker, I move we engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
Next up in the block is House Bill 390, which seeks to amend the Code of Virginia related to the Marine Resources Commission Habitat Policy Oversight Committee established powers and duties report. Legislation Report Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources, again with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Askew.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute's agreed to. Delegate Askew.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, HB 390 establishes the Habitat Policy Oversight Committee within the VMRC to provide science-based guidance to habitat policy, mitigation, permitting, supporting the Commission's coastal resilience and Chesapeake Bay goals. The bill sets the committee's membership and duties and ensures the Commission retains full regulatory authority while improving consistency and transparency in habitat decisions. I hope it's the will of the body to engross this bill and pass it on to its third reading.
House Bill 402 seeks to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia related to cottage food laws, sale of certain food over phone and internet, home food processing, operation, inspection, and permit requirements. Legislation, again, report Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, Natural Resources with Amendment H substitute.
The delegate from Albemarle, Delegate Carlson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Substitutes agreed to. Delegate Carlson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 402 legalizes small residential kitchens' ability to sell food online, by phone, and by mail in Virginia. It also directs a work group to study standardizing expectations for licensed home-based businesses. I ask that it be the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
Over on page 22, we continue with the uncontested calendar block. House Bill 443 now before you seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to maximum number of judges in each judicial district and circuit. Legislation Report Committee of Courts of Justice with Amendment H substitute.
The delegate from Arlington, Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Substitutes agreed to. Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, members of the body. As everyone knows, we're constantly evaluating the caseload in our different judicial circuits to make sure that they have the judicial resources they need in order to operate effectively. This bill comes before you at the recommendation of the Committee on District Courts and the Judicial Council of Virginia. This bill would add 6 more judges to the bench, 2 in circuit, 2 in General District Court, and 2 in JDR. I hope you pleasure the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third read.
House Bill 448 would amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia relating to land records, certain financing statements, recording and indexing fees. This legislation report Committee for Courts of Justice.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Madam Speaker, members of the House, this bill is a tax and fee cut bill. I hope you all support it. This will eliminate a duplicate tax on multi-purpose documents recorded in the land records. It's the pleasure of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
House Bill 459 at the bottom of page 22 is out of the block over to the regular calendar. Therefore, continuing with the block, House Bill 520 now before you seeks to amend and reenact Sections of the Code of Virginia relating to clerk fees, secure remote access to non-confidential court records by certain attorneys. Legislation Report Committee for Courts of Justice, Amendment H substitute.
The delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Substitutes agreed to. Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This bill is an official recommendation of the Indigent Defense Commission. The bill waives OCRA fees for currently certified court-appointed attorneys in the jurisdictions where they are taking cases. The goal here is to make it just a little bit easier for these individuals to do this work. We don't have enough of them across the Commonwealth, and it's our hope that this will help. I move that we engross the bill and pass it along to its third reading.
Next up is House Bill 543, legislation to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Office of Working Lands Preservation, Powers and Duties, Forest Sustainability Fund. Legislation Board Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources.
The delegate from Chesapeake, Delegate Carnegie.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to speak to the bill.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you. House Bill 543 is an agency bill that places management of the Forest Sustainability Fund with the Office of Working Lands Preservation in the Department of Forestry. The fund supports localities that choose to conserve farm and forest land rather than overdevelop it. This bill helps keep working lands productive while protecting our natural resources. I ask the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Next up in the block, House Bill 567. This legislation seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to court records, aggregated case data, request by attorney for the Commonwealth exempted. Legislation Board Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute.
The delegate from Chesapeake, Delegate Carnegie.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Substitutes agreed to. Delegate Carnegie.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 567, as substituted, standardizes how court records and aggregated data are requested and shared while protecting personal information and ensuring Commonwealth's attorneys have the access they need. It also provides clear timelines and legal protections for clerks and court staff. My hope is that it's the pleasure of the body to engross this bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Turning to page 24, we continue with the second reading uncontested calendar block. House Bill 581 now before you seeks to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to unauthorized use of name, portrait, voice, likeness, or picture of any person, digital replica, civil liability, statute of limitations. Legislation Board Committee for Courts of Justice, amendment neighbor substitute.
The delegate for Norfolk, Delegate Glass.
Gratitude, Madam Chair. There's a committee substitute. I move the substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Substitutes agreed to. Delegate Glass.
Okay, gratitude, Madam Chair. What House Bill 589 does is it expands those civil liabilities of production, distribution, and digital replica from voice, image, and likeness, and ads voice. It also expands civil liability from 20 to 30 years. I move that it be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
House Bill 645 is legislation to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Marine Resources Commission, license tags and identification numbers, marking of commercial fishing boats, nets, and other devices. Legislation Support Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake Natural Resources.
The delegate from Richmond County, Delegate Kent.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 645 allows the Virginia Marine Resource Commission to set how licenses or identification numbers are displayed on commercial fishing boats, nets, and gear, and removes the requirement of a license placard on gear while maintaining the ID. Madam Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
House Bill 647 now before you would require the Board of Education to amend its regulations governing allowable credit for teaching experience to permit the allowance of certain teaching experience credit substitutions. This legislation was Support Committee on Education with an amendment.
The delegate from Richmond County, Delegate Kent.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to move the committee amendments.
Shall the amendments be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The amendments are agreed to. Delegate Kent.
Thank you. House Bill 647 allows the Board of Education to update salary placement requirements to allow certain career and technical education teachers to receive teaching credit for relevant work experience. Madam Speaker, I move that bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Next up, we come to House Bill 706. Legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to museums and other cultural institutions. Gunston Hall, meetings of the Board of Regents. This legislation for Committee on Education with amendments.
The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Henson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move the committee amendments.
Shall the amendments be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The amendments are agreed to. Delegate Henson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 706 requires the Gunston Hall Board of Regents to meet in person at least once annually. This bill clarifies that any additional meeting of the board held within the same calendar year may be in person or held as an all-virtual public meeting in compliance with the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. Madam Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
House Bill 710 is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Board of Agriculture and Consumer Services, invasive plant species installation, written notification to property owners, civil penalty. This legislation report committee on ACNR with amendment nature of the substitute.
The delegate from Fauquier, Delegate Pence.
Shenandoah County, but that's okay.
Oh,
thank you,
I blame
Speaker.
Paul.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move adopt the committee of substitute, please.
The delegate from Shenandoah moves that we adopt the committee substitute. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. Delegate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 710 improves enforcement of the tradesperson invasive species notification requirement by converting a Class 1 misdemeanor into a civil penalty assessed by the Board of Agriculture. The bill keeps the underlying disclosure requirement in place, but it makes the penalty proportional and workable, and it was a former Delegate Bulliva bill, the previous Delegate Bulliva. Madam Speaker, I hope it is the pleasure of the House to engross the bill and advance it to its third reading.
Continuing with the block over on page 26.
Madam Speaker?
Yes, the delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
That's right. Madam Speaker, will the delegate yield for a question?
Will the delegate yield?
I will absolutely yield.
The delegate from Shenandoah absolutely yields.
Madam Speaker, I would ask the delegate from Shenandoah if it's true that this bill eliminates a crime from the Code of Virginia. It eliminates a misdemeanor, and so if that's the case, would he agree that he is a real criminal justice reform champion by introducing this bill?
Madam Speaker?
Yes.
I will take that designation proudly, yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, one request. Could this bill go to the regular calendar after engrossment?
Without objection, move to the regular calendar after engrossment.
Members of the House, now turning to page 26, we come to House Bill 714, legislation to authorize the Department of Conservation and Recreation to convey and acquire property at Leesylvania State Park. This legislation supports Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources.
The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Henson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, House Bill 714 authorizes the Department of Conservation and Recreation to exchange a small portion of land at Leesylvania State Park with the Newport News Estate Homeowners Association. The bill allows a small unused section of the park land less than 5 acres to be conveyed so that the HOA can safely access the erosion site for necessary repairs. Madam Speaker, like a good neighbor, Virginia is there. I move that this bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
House Bill 759, now before you, would authorize the Department of Wildlife Resources to grant and convey an appurtenant and non-exclusive easement and right-of-way at Highland Wildlife Management Area, as well as to accept an appurtenant and non-exclusive access easement and right-of-way at Highland Wildlife Management Area. So legislation report Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources.
The delegate from Rockingham, Delegate Runyon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, House Bill 759 authorizes the Department of Wildlife Resources to grant, convey, an appurtenance and non-exclusive easement to A1 Land LLC over the portion of Davis Run Road that crosses the Highland Wildlife Management Area. Madam Speaker, I move the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
House Bill 768, now before you, seeks to amend and reenact Section of the Code of Virginia relating to custody and visitation arrangements for minor custody evaluation. Legislative Committee for Courts of Justice with an amendment.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Madam Speaker, I move the committee amendment.
Shall the amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The amendment's agreed to. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate
Speaker,
Simon.
this brilliant bill, House Bill 768, clarifies the judge's ability to gather information during child custody and visitation proceedings, provides clarity that a judge may order a full custody evaluation even when they've already done an independent mental health or psychological evaluation in order to assist the court with its determination of the child's best interest. Hopes the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
House Bill 846 is legislation to amend and reenact Section of the Code of Virginia relating to conservation easements co-holders. This legislation, again, report to Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Richmond County, Delegate Kent.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute's agreed to. The delegate from Richmond County, Delegate Kent.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 846 amends the requirement regarding land conservation. The bill would ease unnecessary burdens of a co-hold requirement as long as the holder is an accredited national land trust while still ensuring third-party enforcement. I move the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
House Bill 872, now before you, seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to possession of portable electronic device in district or circuit court. This legislation is before the Committee for Courts of Justice with an amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Richmond, Delegate Cousins.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute's agreed to. Delegate Cousins.
Thank you. HB 872 codifies the Supreme Court of Virginia's model policy regarding portable electronic devices and requires the chief judge of every district and circuit court to set a policy for the possession of portable electronic devices in their courthouses. Madam Speaker, I ask that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Continuing with the block, we come to House Bill 910, which seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to prohibited acquisition of single-family homes, affidavit civil penalties. Legislation Report Committee for Courts of Justice with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Shin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd like to please move the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute's agreed to. Delegate Shin.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. House Bill 910 adds to the comprehensive statewide housing needs assessment, which is a report that is supposed to be published at least once every 5 years by the Department of Housing and Community Development, a provision to include a review of the share of our housing market owned by corporations and private equity firms. Madam Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Over on page 28, we come to House Bill 929, which seeks to amend and reenact Section of the Code of Virginia relating to Uniform Power of Attorney Act, acknowledged power of attorney definition. Legislative Report Committee for Courts of Justice.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Madam Speaker, members of the House, so what this bill does is it conforms Virginia's version of the Uniform Power of Attorney Act to the national standard, makes the language match up exactly. Our deviation has caused some unexpected court results in court, and so this will just bring us in line with the other states that have adopted the act. It's the pleasure of the body to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
House Bill 958 is legislation to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia relating to corporate income tax. Delegate Watts' bill also affects taxable income net operating loss. This legislation was reported from her committee, Committee on Finance.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Watts.
I tried.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The corporate income tax that we see before us is the result of a study that was done about how to properly account for net operating losses. We were forcing a number of corporations into double booking because of what most other states do, and this will put Virginia in line with the standard practice. Hope it will be the pleasure of the body to engross the bill, pass it on to its third reading.
House Bill 1020 now continues in the block. This is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to sexual abuse during infancy or incapacity, accrual of cause of action. This legislation report Committee for Courts of Justice with amendment.
The delegate from Loudoun, Delegate Reeser.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First, I'd like to move the committee substitute amendments.
Shall the amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The amendments are agreed to. Delegate Reeser.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This bill amends Virginia's civil child sexual assault statute of limitations to allow courts to consider newly discovered evidence such as DNA, confessions, or corroborating witnesses. I move the bill be engrossed and move to its third read.
House Bill 1081 seeks to amend and reenact a section of the Code of Virginia relating to the Office of Working Lands Preservation, powers and duties, small renewable energy project fees. This legislation report Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources.
The delegate from Fauquier, Delegate Wibbert.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, House Bill 1081 establishes that the Office of Working Lands serve as a trustee to administer the in lieu of fees collected in the permit by rule small energy project. These fees are used to acquire conservation easements and cover any expenses associated with acquiring such easements. I move that the bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
House Bill 1108 now before you is legislation to amend and reenact three sections of the Code of Virginia relating to public institutions of higher education, museums, and other cultural institutions, Virginia Commission for the Arts, revisions. Legislative Board Committee on Education.
The delegate from Scott, Delegate Kilgore.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 1108 comes to us from the Virginia Commission on Arts, and it modernizes the Virginia Commission on Arts Code, especially one example. It removes the comprehensive education curriculum because it's now the Department of Education is charged with the development and implementation of arts curricula in Virginia schools. So it'll be the pleasure of the House to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Over on page 30, we come to House Bill 1119, which seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to guardianship, copy of appointment, termination, or modification order, Department of Medical Assistance Services. Legislation Committee for Courts of Justice.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Navarre.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. At the request of the Department of Medical Assistance Services, House Bill 1119 removes an outdated requirement that court clerks send guardianship orders to DMAS, even though they no longer handle guardianship case management. Local departments of social services already receive all required notices and will continue to do so, so services and protections remain unchanged. I move that the bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
Next up in the block, House Bill 1180 seeks to amend and reenact portion of the code and repeal a portion of the Acts of Assembly of 2010 relating to the Department of Taxation free tax filing program for individuals. This legislation was reported to the Committee on Finance with an amendment.
The delegate from Dinwiddie, Delegate Pope Adams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House adopt the committee amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The amendment is agreed to. Delegate Pope Adams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. HB 1180, as amended, requires the tax commissioner to create and offer a modern, free electronic tax filing program directly to Virginia taxpayers. The funding for this initiative was approved in 2025. Madam Speaker, I hope it is the will of the body to engross this bill and pass on to its third reading.
House Bill 1341, now before you, seeks to amend and reenact a portion of the Acts of Assembly of 1966, which provided a charter for the city of Fairfax relating to financial powers. This legislation report Committee on Finance.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Belova.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Bill HB 1341 supports a charter change for the City of Fairfax requested in a resolution adopted by the City of Fairfax City Council. Currently, there's a 4% cap on the transient occupancy tax in the City of Fairfax charter. The City of Fairfax requests that this specific amount be removed, allowing the city the flexibility to set their own transient occupancy tax rates in accordance with the general laws of the Commonwealth. I hope that it is the pleasure of this body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Over on page 31, we come to House Bill 1350, which seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Environmental Quality, special orders, Virginia Erosion and Sediment Control Program, civil penalties. This legislation report Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources, Amendment Nature Substitute.
The delegate from Richmond County, Delegate Kent.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to move the committee substitute, please.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute's agreed to. Delegate Kent.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 1350 would increase the civil penalty that the DEQ may assess for certain violations of specific land disturbances. The bill modernizes violation of the Virginia Erosion and Settlement Control Program to meet other DEQ program requirements. I move that the bill be passed on to its third reading.
Next up, we come to House Bill 1358, a legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to real property tax, special assessment for land use, notice requirements, civil penalty. This legislation report Committee on Finance with Amendment Nature Substitute.
The delegate for Rockingham, Delegate Runyon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute's agreed to. Delegate Runyon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, House Bill 1358 establishes a requirement for written disclosure upon the sale of real estate for property subject to a special assessment based on use. Madam Speaker, I move the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
And, Madam Speaker, lastly, we come to House Bill 1381, legislation to amend and reenact Section of the Code of Virginia relating to prohibiting bioslurry injection wells in groundwater management area. This legislation reported on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources with Amendment Nature Substitute.
The delegate from Accomack, Delegate Bloxham.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill simply gives our DEQ the ability to regulate groundwater management areas. I hope it's the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
And
shall the bills be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bills are engrossed and pass the third reading.
Continuing with today's calendar, we come to a new category, House Bills on second reading regular. Page 32, if you're following along that way in the printed version. Approximately 40-ish bills in this category. House Bills 1,161 and 524 are by for the day. So therefore, the first bill in this new category is House Bill 365, which seeks to amend and reenact Section of the Code of Virginia relating to emergency vehicles exempt from certain traffic regulations. Legislation report Committee on Transportation with amendments.
Delegate from Rockbridge, Delegate McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would ask that we move the committee amendments, but I would ask that the body reject the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is rejected. The delegate from Rockbridge, Delegate McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There is a floor amendment.
Clerk will report the floor amendments.
Speaker, floor amendment offered by the bill's patron, Delegate McLaughlin. All of them are available online to members via iHeart and to the public on the legislative information systems, and they are now before you.
Delegate from Rockbridge, Delegate McLaughlin.
Speaking to the floor amendment, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you. The floor amendment is exactly the same as the committee amendments, but on the line, the floor amendment number 5, line 88, instead of the word or, we changed it to and. I would ask that we adopt this.
Shall the floor amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The floor amendment is agreed to.
Speaking to the bill.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill provides non-emergency law enforcement exemptions to speed limits when done to establish evidence and other violations of the law when utilizing emergency lights and sirens might pose a safety risk. It also provides non-emergency law enforcement exemptions to parking or stopping provisions, all while having due regard for safety. I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to third reading.
Over on page 34, we come to House Bill 43. This is legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to abolishing the common law crime of suicide. Legislation Report Committee for Courts of Justice with an amendment.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Mr. Speaker, I move the committee amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Committee amendment is agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, this is a bill we've seen before several years in a row. It comes to us in a slightly different format this year. In the Senate last year, they amended the bill to add a delayed enactment clause and an enactment that requires the Bureau of Insurance and the State Corporation Commission to review the effect and implications this would have on the insurance industry throughout the Commonwealth. This bill is not, I just want to be real clear about what it's not. This bill is not about physician-assisted suicide. This has nothing to do with that. This is about eliminating the common law crime of suicide so that suicide is no longer considered a criminal act in Virginia. We bring our common law in from Britain. That's where all of our common law comes from. In England, they abolished the common law crime of suicide in 1961. It's been abolished in Maryland, New York, and several other states. What happens is that if your death is considered part of a criminal act, it bars the survivors of the family from accessing a number of benefits under a number of different statutes and a number of different insurance provisions. It also creates a stigma that makes it harder for folks to seek help after an attempted suicide. If your attempted suicide was a criminal act, it sometimes deters people from seeking the help they need to prevent a future suicide. So I hope there'll be the pleasure of the body to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to third reading.
House Bill 70 now before you is legislation to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to Resilient Virginia Revolving Fund projects, low-income geographic areas, and nature-based solutions, interagency resilience management team powers and duties. This legislation for Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake Natural Resources Amendment Nature Substitute.
Delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Fagans.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to move the substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 70 updates the Virginia Resilient Revolving Fund. First, it prioritizes projects in low-income geographic areas that are utilizing nature-based solutions, ensuring funds for some of the most vulnerable areas and supporting long-term, cost-effective resilience. Additionally, it speeds up delivery by allowing approved program administrators to help localities with grant deployment. Mr. Speaker, I move that we engross the bill and advance it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to third reading.
House Bill 112 seeks to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Wildlife Resources, premature separation and hybridization of mammalian wildlife prohibited. Exceptions. Legislation for Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources with Amendment Nature Substitute.
Delegate from Albemarle, Delegate Lawford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 112 is a bill with a very narrow focus on protecting exotic mammals in captivity from premature separation, as well as make it unlawful for the hybridization of wildlife for commercial purposes. There are several exemptions in this bill to ensure that it only enacts its specific intent. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to third reading.
House Bill 129 seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to killing of deer damaging fruit trees, crops, livestock, plants, or personal property. Legislation Report Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources Amendment Nature Substitute.
Delegate from Grayson, Delegate Cornett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 129 amends the Code of Virginia to strengthen and streamline the existing process that allows landowners and agriculture producers to address deer that are actively damaging crops, livestock, fruit trees, or other agricultural property. The bill ensures that when agricultural damage is occurring, landowners or lessees
can obtain practical and timely authorization to remove deer causing the damage while maintaining existing reporting requirements and compliance with local ordinances. It also simplifies the permit reissuance process in situations where ongoing agricultural operations continue to experience repeated damage, reducing unnecessary burdens on the farmers, and also preserving the Department of Wildlife Resources oversight role. I ask that the body engross the bill and pass it to the third reading.
Shall the bill, the delegate from Buckingham, Delegate Garrett.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, with the patron yield for a question.
With the patron yield for a question.
I'll yield, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would ask the patron, and I just want to make it clear that I'm asking for a friend. If I got cherry trees and the squirrels are eating all my cherries in the I'm sorry. If my friend has cherry trees and the squirrels are eating all my cherry, I'm sorry. If my friend has cherry trees and the squirrels are eating all of my friend's cherries in the spring, would he have to ask the Commonwealth before he eradicated the squirrels?
Mr. Speaker, respond to the delegate. I believe so. This bill in particular deals with deer, so I haven't done my research on squirrels, but I do know there is a squirrel season. So if it was in squirrel season, I would presume that you could kill the squirrel.
Mr. Speaker,
Delegate has the floor.
As my friend has a Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, I'll yield.
Sounds like you need to get your own bill, too. Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Next up, we come to House Bill 167, legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to tax exemptions, Confederacy organizations. This legislation report committee on finance.
The delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Askew.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, speaking to the bill.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, HB 167 is about making sure our tax code reflects who are the Commonwealth, not the era of the lost cause of mass resistance. For decades, Confederate organizations have enjoyed special tax carve-outs that were never about fairness. They're about preserving a narrative that held Virginia back. This bill ends special tax breaks for certain Confederate organizations that currently receive unique exemptions under law. Also puts these organizations on the same footing as others by subjecting their property and recordation transactions to the standard tax code. Mr. Speaker, again, this removes legacy carve-outs added in the 20th century when Virginia resisted integration and civil rights. This bill removes outdated tax favors for Confederate organizations and brings them in line with every other taxpayer in Virginia. Hope it's willing body to engross this bill and pass it on to its third reader.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Over on page 36, we come to Delegate Maida's House Bill 172. Seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to criminal cases. Request for a jury to ascertain punishment. This legislation report committee for Courts of Justice with an amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Chesterfield.
Yes.
I got this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate Maida.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delegate Maida.
I'd like to move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Speaking to the bill, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you. HB 172 is a straightforward clarification that promotes fairness and transparency in Virginia's criminal justice system. It ensures that a person accused of a crime may withdraw a request for jury sentencing at any time before sentencing has begun and allows both parties to question prospective jurors regarding potential punishment and sentencing. I ask that it be the will of the body to engross this bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Next up is House Bill 290, legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to false statements as to school division or attendance zone residency penalty. Legislation report committee on education.
Delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 290 is a simple bill that stops the unnecessary criminalization of parents who knowingly provide an inaccurate home address for the purpose of school zone residency. This bill removes the criminal conviction of a misdemeanor, but not the consequences, ensuring that we don't harm students or destabilize families by subjecting them to the criminal justice system. HB 290 avoids creating long-term taxpayer burdens over conduct that can be effectively addressed through civil enforcement. As a result, civil penalties will achieve compliance without lifelong damage to working families. With that, Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 303 is legislation to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to divorce, adultery, filing, parties living separate and apart. Legislation reporting Committee for Courts of Justice.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, HB 303 is a great bill with a terrible title. This bill came to me from the Family Law Coalition of the Virginia Bar Association. It will allow a divorce from bed and board without need for fault like abuse or adultery. This will allow divorcing couples to begin resolving issues like custody and use of the marital home while the one-year separation period ends. It does not reduce that one-year separation period. It also specifies that adultery is only grounds for fault when the conduct occurred prior to separation. The bill will make divorce proceedings timelier, more efficient, less costly, less acrimonious, and most importantly, easier on any children. I hope it'll be the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
House Bill 322 seeks to amend and reenact various sections of the Code of Virginia relating to misbranded meat food products prohibited, civil penalty. Legislation for Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources.
Delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Glass.
Gratitude, Mr. Chair. What House Bill 322 does is make sure that the label tells you whether that meat moved, clucked, oinked, or buzzed. And if you don't do that, then there's a civil penalty of up to $500. I move the bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Next up, we come to House Bill 342, which seeks to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia relating to the Judicial Inquiry and Review Commission, magistrates' availability of complaint forms in courthouses. This legislation was reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speak to the bill.
Delegate has the floor.
HB 342 requires that paper copies of any standardized form developed and utilized by the Judicial Inquiry and Review Commission and any standardized form developed and utilized by the Department of Magistrate Services in the Office of the Executive Secretary of the Supreme Court of Virginia for the filing of a complaint be made available to the public in clerk's office in all state courts of the Commonwealth. This bill also requires that a sign be posted in all courts in a location accessible to the public that notes the availability and location of such forms. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 355 now before you seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to public school students in grades 6 through 12 annual mental health screening. This legislation report committee on education with amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Chesterfield, Delegate Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 355, a Section 1 bill, directs the Department of Education in consultation with the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services and any other stakeholder that the department deems appropriate to develop best practices for annual mental health screenings for public school students in grades 6 through 12, utilizing evidence-based tools. The bill also has a first enactment clause that the School Health Services Committee shall study best practices for an annual screening and report back no later than October 1st, 2026. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 357 now before you seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to release of accused on secured or unsecured bond. Legislation Report Committee for Courts of Justice with amendments.
The delegate from Albemarle, Delegate Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you. House Bill 357 gives judges discretion in posting secured or unsecured bonds by eliminating automatic secured bond mandates for certain defendants, instead moving those factors into those that shall be considered when making a determination about bail. I ask that it be the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Next up is House Bill 462, legislation to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to certain economics, education, and financial literacy instruction and health education, instruction on health insurance and health care. Legislation Report Committee on Education with Amendment Nature Substitute.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Cohen.
Mr. Speaker, first I'd ask that the substitute be moved.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Thank you. HB 462 as amended is a Section 1 bill that directs the Board of Education during its next regularly scheduled revision of the Health Education Standards of Learning and Curriculum Framework to include literacy instruction for the purpose of helping students navigate the healthcare system effectively and efficiently in grades 9 and 10 health curriculum. I hope it's the will of the body to engross and pass the bill to its third reading.
Which one? No. Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 468 is legislation to amend and reenact portions of the Acts of Assembly of 2025 relating to the State Council for Education for Virginia, or SHEV, regarding Model Transition IEP report. This legislation report Committee on Education with Amendment Nature Substitute.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I'd ask that the body adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 468 comes as a result of a report from SHEV on HB 508 from last session. This bill would provide some guidance documents for the transition IEP team in students' 12th grade year so that they will be better prepared for our post-secondary education system. I'd ask that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed to its third reading.
House Bill 556 now before you seeks to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to the State Registrar of Vital Records, final decree of divorce or annulment of marriage, necessary information. This legislation report Committee of Courts of Justice with Amendment Nature Substitute.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reeser.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill makes clear that a Social Security number, DMV control number, is required only if it is available, allowing courts to enter final decrees without delay. I move that the bill be engrossed and moved to its third read.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 557 is legislation to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to tangible personal property tax, electric landscaping equipment. This legislation report Committee on Finance.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reeser.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this bill allows for a tax reduction for businesses that choose electric or battery-powered landscaping equipment. I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 595 now before you seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Board of Education, requirements for graduation with an advanced studies diploma, simultaneous completion of international baccalaureate diploma and advanced studies diploma, approval of alternatives for certain credit requirements, regulations. Legislation Report Committee on Education with Amendment Nature Substitute.
Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Simons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, HB 595 allows the Board of Education to approve equivalent coursework and recognize the IB diploma as meeting Virginia's Advanced Studies diploma requirements. It provides flexibility for IB students who transfer into Virginia public schools during or after 10th grade, a situation that often affects military and diplomatic families. I hope it will be the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 601 now before you seeks to amend and reenact various sections of the Code of Virginia, all relating to exemptions from garnishment, minimum protected account balance, certain benefit payments, procedure for financial institutions. Legislation for the Courts of Justice with amendments.
The delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a consumer protection bill designed to ensure people can still afford the necessities of life when they face a garnishment. Specifically, this bill does two things. First, the bill would automatically protect up to $1,000 in a person's bank account from garnishment. Second, this bill would automatically protect 4 kinds of deposits that are made in someone's account: unemployment insurance, workers' compensation payments, public assistance payments like TANF, and child support payments. In practice, when financial institutions see these kinds of deposits, they have to protect 2 months' worth of the deposits from garnishment, and the people who are facing this don't have to go to court to claim the exemption. Supported by the banks and the credit unions, I move that we engross the bill and pass it along to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Next up is House Bill 667, legislation to amend and reenact 2 sections of the Code of Virginia relating to juvenile and domestic relations district courts, jurisdiction, definitions, petitions by non-citizen aged 18 to 21 years for legal custody, and other relief. This legislation before Committee for Courts of Justice with an amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Maldonado.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the substitute clarifies the juvenile and domestic relations district courts that they may hear a narrow class of petitions from unmarried non-citizens from 18 to 21 years of age when an underlying abuse, neglect, or abandonment occurred before the individual turned 18. This bill, to be clear, does not expand criminal authority, redefine immigration status, or alter substantive legal standards in full discretion. Judicial discretion is preserved. Importantly, this bill finally aligns Virginia law, brings it into concurrence with existing federal law on the Code of Federal Regulations that grant this similar special immigrant juvenile status. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading. Thank you.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third read.
Next up is House Bill 705, legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to the Board of Education. Programs and courses of instruction, water safety instruction for elementary school students required, guidelines. Legislation before Committee on Education with amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Chesapeake, Delegate Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendment.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, drowning is a leading cause of accidental death for children nationwide and here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. This bill is about our duty to provide and protect the health, safety, and welfare for our most precious citizens, our children. By introducing water safety instruction in the elementary schools, Mr. Speaker, during its next regularly scheduled revision of the Health Education Standards of Learning and Curriculum Framework, then what we are able to do is to give every child, regardless of their background, essential skills to be safe. I hope it's the will of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Continuing with the calendar, we come next to House Bill 749, legislation to amend and reenact 2 sections of the Code of Virginia relating to fertilizer and lime permit requirements. Legislation report Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources.
Delegate from Rockingham, Delegate Runyon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 749 amends the provisions governing the permit requirements for bulk lime materials to allow valid license holders to sell bulk liming material. The bill also removes duplicative language relating to the permit process. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 905 is legislation to amend and reenact Section of the Code of Virginia relating to persons other than ministers who may perform rites of marriage, clerk, issuance of order, bond requirement. Legislation before Committee on Courts of Justice with an amendment.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Thank you.
All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 905 simplifies the process to become a marriage officiant in Virginia, relieving stress on the current process in circuit courts. The bill allows court clerks who already process these application certificates to approve officiants rather than circuit court judges, and gives them the discretion to waive the $500 bond used as collateral for the return of the marriage certificate after the ceremony. Currently, the bond can be a financial burden to marriages and creates unnecessary clerical work for the court, since the best collateral for the return of the marriage certificate is the court's ability to certify it. Mr. Speaker, the bill will make the process faster, more accessible for married couples to be and their officiants, and also help free up court dockets that are already too busy. Mr. Speaker, I move we engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third read.
House Bill 915. This is legislation to amend and reenact portion of the Code of Virginia relating to local taxation extension for federal government shutdown. This legislation reported for the Committee on Finance with amendments.
Delegate from Arlington, Douglas Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the committee amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last year, the federal government went through the longest shutdown in U.S. history. For 43 days, thousands of workers, many of whom reside in Virginia, went without pay, even if they were accepted workers, those workers that are required to stay on the job without being paid. This bill would allow localities to provide an extension on personal property taxes owed by furloughed or accepted employees during a federal government shutdown. This would empower localities to provide crucial relief for their federal employees, taking one more expense off their plates of those working without pay to help them take care of their families while waiting to receive their back pay. Mr. Speaker, I move that we engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Delegate from Rockingham, Delegate Wilt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would Delegate yield for a question?
Would the delegate yield for a question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate will yield.
Mr. Speaker, I'd ask the gentleman, is he aware of any other type of action taken like this by the General Assembly any time in the past?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would respond to the delegate that yes, we took action on in similar areas where we allowed localities to take similar action in recent years.
Follow-up question, Mr. Speaker?
Will the delegate yield for an additional question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I would ask the delegate, is there any concern here about creating a special class, a special carve-out, special discrimination against any other citizen that we have in Virginia that fall in circumstances where they've lost their job and they're in a hardship and find themselves in a tough financial situation?
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would say no, I don't believe there will be a special class. I would say that luckily in 2025, the General Assembly passed legislation so that government workers could get a 60-day stay on foreclosures and a 60-day eviction contingencies during a shutdown. Mr. Speaker, considering the significant number of federal employees we have in Virginia, I think this is basic math and helping out families.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
House Bill 924 is next. It seeks to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia relating to Board of Education and Superintendent of Public Instruction, state program to support the improvement of low-performing schools. Legislation Board Committee on Education with amendments.
The delegate from Roanoke City, Delegate Rasul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, this House Bill 924 allows us to now have a framework with which to prioritize. If we're going to say that certain schools are low performing, that the department would then restructure to ensure that it's prioritizing resources to those low performing schools. I hope it would be the pleasure of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
Over on page 44, we come to House Bill 933, which seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to penalties for failure to appear, contempt. Legislation Board Committee, Courts of Justice with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Mr. Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, with the substitute, what this bill does is it eliminates felony failure to appear and reduces it to a misdemeanor punishable by a maximum of 30 days in jail. Also requires a failure to appear to be willful before it can be punished as a crime. The idea is that folks miss their court dates for all kinds of reasons that are outside their control. We ought to be focusing in on those folks that willfully fail to appear. It's the pleasure of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
House Bill 942 is legislation to amend and reenact multiple sections of the Code of Virginia are related to child abuse and neglect, custody and visitation, possession or consumption of authorized substances. Legislation Board Committee, Courts of Justice with an amendment.
The delegate from Suffolk, Delegate Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 942 clarifies the lawful possession or use of authorized substance by itself cannot be treated as child abuse, neglect, or an automatic basis to deny custody or visitation without evidence or actual harm or risk. Importantly, HB 942 fully preserves judicial discretion, requiring court to act when a child is endangered, but grounding those decisions in individualized, evidence-based findings instead of presumptions tied to lawful conduct. Mr. Speaker, I move the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 950 now before you seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to use of unmanned aircraft system by public bodies. Search warrant required exceptions. Legislation before the Courts of Justice with amendments.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill permits the Department of Environmental Quality to use drones to help inspect for erosion and sediment control compliance, as well as stormwater and Virginia water protection permit requirements. Not only does this save time and money for the Commonwealth, but also helps improve environmental protection with non-compliant areas being discovered and subsequently fixed at a far faster rate than currently allowed. Additionally, DEQ will be able to complete inspections with less time on the site, reducing interruptions for construction sites trying to complete projects quickly. Mr. Speaker, this bill makes sense for all parties involved, allowing both the DEQ and compliant businesses to resume their normal work at a significantly faster pace post-inspection, while also halting pollution practices more efficiently than ever before. Mr. Speaker, I move we engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 1013 seeks to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Marine Resources Commission, Chesapeake Bay, Diamondback, Terrapin protection areas, use of bycatch reduction devices on crab traps. Penalty. Legislation Board Committee, Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources with amendments.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to move the House adopt the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, this bill requires the Virginia Marine Resource Center, in collaboration with the Crab Management Advisory Committee and the Virginia Institute for Marine Sciences, to develop Diamondback terrapin protection areas in portions of the Chesapeake Bay and its tributaries, where interactions may occur between Diamondback terrapins and recreational nets, trap spots, or other fishing devices or gear. The bill also requires the use of bycatch reduction devices on recreational crab pots in those areas, and it directs these three entities that we just mentioned to determine if any additional strategies are needed to reduce the bycatch of Diamondback terrapins in these protection areas and report those strategies to the General Assembly. I hope it's will of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
The delegate from Richmond County, Delegate Kent.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the delegate yield for a question?
Will the delegate yield?
I yield, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask the delegate whether or not VIMS or CMAQ has ever studied this issue specifically.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would respond to the delegate by saying that if you look on the VIMS Diamondback Terrapins website, it actually identifies 10 different research papers in this particular issue area, and makes a recommendation that to preserve the terrapin population while minimally affecting the crabbing industry, one of those strategies is to require the use of bycatch reduction devices on commercial and recreational crab pots.
Mr. Speaker, can I speak to the bill, please?
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In addition to this bill and this study, there's been numerous studies for the past 10 years that have looked at bycatch reduction. And where the goal was for watermen is to say that where we understand there may be an issue in the cul-de-sac, let's not take out the whole neighborhood. And so I appreciate the patron looking into this. We would like to ask that VIMS and CMAQs, those that are really involved in this, be able to make a ruling on this and make a decision, and let those that are the experts be able to make this decision instead of legislate it. Thank you.
The delegate from Accomack, Delegate Bloxham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Speaker, will the delegate yield for a question?
Will the delegate yield?
Sure, Mr. Speaker, I yield.
Sure, she'll yield.
Thank you. Thank the patron. A couple questions, and she already knows these questions ahead of time. My first question, Mr. Speaker, is does the delegate have any commercial crabbing in her district?
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Mr. Speaker, I think my colleague on the other side of the aisle knows that I represent parts of Fairfax County. And Mr. Speaker, I would also say I think the delegate from the other side of the aisle also recognizes this bill does not touch on commercial crabbing. Thank you.
Delegate from Accomack.
Will the patron yield for another question?
Will the delegate yield for another question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I yield.
She will yield.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would ask the patron, Mr. Speaker, if there are any tidal creeks where recreation crab pots could be put in her district.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Mr. Speaker, I would respond to the delegate by saying that I, like many of us in here, care deeply about the native wildlife population in Virginia, and that this bill is simply trying to make sure that a species that the Department of Wildlife Resources has classified as one of our highest needs for conservation in the 2025 Wildlife Action Plan gets enough attention that we are preserving the species as well as balancing the needs of our recreational crab folks. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, can I speak to the bill?
You may. The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I appreciate the answer from the patron, and I really appreciate her working on this bill to make sure that it only includes recreation. The problem is with a lot of the VMRC regulations, you have what I call mission creep, and it's going to eventually go to the commercial crabbers. There's a study in 2009-2010 with over 5,000 crab pots used over a course of 2 years. 16 watermen were involved in this study. 3 turtles were caught. Might have been 3, might have been 4, but it's only, we're talking about a small percentage of turtles were caught on that study. I'm still trying to find out if they were alive or not, because the problem we have with recreation crab pots is the owner of a large home on the river will throw out crab pots on Sunday, they go to work, then they come back on Friday and check their crab pots. Commercial crabbers check their crab pots every day. This excluder has been shown to reduce the catch by 50%. It's an undue burden that I fear will be transferred to the commercial industry, and that's why I'm still a no on this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill's engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 1071 now before you seeks to amend and reenact 3 sections of the Code of Virginia relating to public elementary and secondary schools and institutions of higher education, threat assessment teams, training on emergency substantial risk orders, and substantial risk orders. Legislative Support Committee on Education.
Delegate from Albemarle, Delegate Lawfer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 1071 is a bill that will include education on the use of emergency and substantial risk orders for threat assessment teams in K-12 and institutions of higher education. HB 1071 is a tool to help communities effectively protect the most vulnerable members of the Commonwealth, our children. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to its third reading.
House Bill 1095 at the bottom of page 46 on the calendar is by for the day. Therefore, next up, second reading regular is House Bill 1100. It seeks to amend and reenact multiple sections of the Code of Virginia relating to wage garnishment, treasurer's liens for unpaid taxes and charges. Legislative work with the Courts of Justice with amendments.
Delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is yet another consumer protection bill designed to protect wages. Under current law, when a lien is issued by a treasurer, there is no cap on the amount of someone's paycheck that can be subject to the lien. In plain English, that means they can take 100%. We had a similar bill that the House has already passed dealing with state tax collection. This deals with the local. So I hope that we will engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Page 48, we come to House Bill 1110, which seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to Marine Resources Commission, blue catfish, Chesapeake Wild Harvest Certification. Legislative Support Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake and Natural Resources, Movement Nature Substitute.
Delegate from Middlesex, Delegate Hodges.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to adopt the committee substitute for House Bill 1110.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1110 directs the Virginia Marine Products Board to establish and maintain a voluntary Chesapeake Wild Harvest certification and labeling program for any blue catfish that is taken or caught in the Chesapeake Bay or its tributaries and is processed in the Commonwealth. This bill prohibits any person from labeling any product as Chesapeake Wild Harvest unless such product conforms with the provisions of the bill. Move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Next up is House Bill 1165. House Bill 1165 would require the Board of Education to amend its regulations relating to the qualifications of division superintendents. Legislation was reported to Committee on Education with amendments.
Delegate from Spotsylvania, Delegate Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the adoption of the committee amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1165 requires the Board of Education to amend HVAC 2023-630 of the Virginia Administrative Education Code regulation relating to the qualifications of division superintendents to ensure every superintendent candidate for Board of Education licensure meets consistent baseline professional qualifications for leading a public school division while preserving local control over hiring decisions. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to third reading.
Next up is House Bill 1437. This is legislation to amend and reenact Sections Code of Virginia relating to teacher, other instructional personnel, and support staff position exits, data collection, disaggregation by race. This legislation report Committee on Education with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Chesterfield, Delegate Doherty.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaking to the bill.
The delegate has the floor.
House Bill 1437 requires that each school division report to the Department of Education annually. More complete information about educator and staff exits, not just vacancies, so that policymakers can better understand and address workforce instability in Virginia schools. Mr. Speaker, I move that this bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to third reading.
Next up, House Bill 1486 is legislation to amend and reenact Sections Code of Virginia relating to public schools, student instruction, addictive potential of time spent using certain electronic devices. Legislation Report Committee on Education.
Delegate from Roanoke City, Delegate Russell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1486 is a bill about addiction to screen time. Wanted to make sure we teach our kids about the addiction potential to screen time so they don't end up like me, Mr. Speaker. It would be the pleasure of the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third reading.
This bill should have been on the uncontested docket. Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
House Bill 1499, now before you, seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Education, policies relating to instructional material that contains sexually explicit content, applicability, construction. This legislation report Committee on Education.
Delegate from Henrico County, Delegate LaVere Bowling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 1499 clarifies the existing code language on parental notification when instructional materials containing sexually explicit content are assigned in public schools. Let me be clear that this bill does not remove or weaken parental notification requirements. Schools still must notify parents when such materials are assigned for classroom instruction. Parents' rights still remain intact. HB 1499 simply clarifies that instructional material means content assigned by a teacher for a specific classroom purpose. We know that in a recent JLARC study review, we found that in the current statute, in some cases, this has been misapplied to justify removing books from school libraries. The bill is supported by Virginia Library Association and Association of School Librarians, and I ask that we engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, we come over to page 50 of today's calendar. House bills on second reading, regular calendar. Bill before you next is House Bill 29, which seeks to amend and reenact Chapter 725 of the Acts of Assembly of 2025, which appropriated the public revenues for 2 years ending respectively on June 30th, 2025 and June 30th, 2026. And the bill also seeks to amend and reenact portions of Section 58.1-301 of the Code of Virginia. Legislation was reported from the Committee on Appropriations with amendments. Those amendments are printed separately, Mr. Speaker, but they're available online to the public and to the members here.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Torian.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Powhatan.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a request.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, my request would be that we sever two of the amendments for this legislation, and I can give you the numbers on those.
House will be at ease. 1 second.
Speaker, the two amendments that I'd like to sever from the remainder would be 4-5.04, number 1H, and 4-14, number 2H. And the remainder could be taken up as is in a block.
So my understanding there is a motion to take out
4-5.04, number 1H.
With no objection, those two items are taken out. 4-5.041H and 4-14, number 2H. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Torian.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 29 is the amended budget for the current biennium, otherwise known as the Caboose Bill. As introduced, it includes revenue changes resulting from the annual revenue reforecast undertaken each fall, as well as 15 spending and 15 savings amendments proposed by Governor Youngkin. The package of 9 amendments before you today does the following. Number 1, it makes adjustments to the front page to reflect resources changes resulting from the federal tax conformity bill contained in Part 5 of the Caboose Bill. Second, language in item 77, Department of Elections delays the July 1 reporting deadline for election audits until December 31 of this year. Third, amends the proposed 2% bonus for K-12 personnel and instead provide a $1,500 per employee bonus at an additional cost of $11.1 million. The intent is to ensure that lower paid employees get a substantial bonus instead of relying on 2%, which provides far larger bonuses for higher paid employees. Language also provides flexibility to localities to make the bonus payments in FY 2027 if their already adopted budget do not allow for bonuses in June. Fourth, a corresponding change is made to the state employees bonus, also changing it from 2% to $1,500 per employee. This saves $7.1 million compared to the introduced bill. The net cost of these two changes is $4 million. These are the only spending changes included in the package. Fifth, language in item 469 provides flexibility to higher education to provide the bonus anytime between June 16th and September 16th, 2026. Number 6, language is stricken in capital outlay relating to the disposition or potential relocation of the DMV headquarters building. This issue will be addressed in House Bill 30. Number 7, language in 4-5.04 is unstricken as it relates to the prohibition on the use of funding for abortion services unless required by state or federal law. Number 8, amendments replace the tax conformity language included in HB 29 as introduced language of HB 977, legislation reported and referred from House Finance in Part B of the bill. And then lastly, The package includes a revived primary and filing schedule for November 3rd, 2026 general election, schedules the 2026 primary election for August 4, 2026, and modifies Virginia's 11th congressional districts. The amendment package reflects revenue increases totaling $200 million from tax conformity, offset by spending of $4 million related to making the bonus provided to teachers and state employees from 2% of salary to $1,500. None of these spendings or saving proposals included in the introduced bill has been changed or eliminated. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be engrossed and passed on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and
Speaker, parliamentary inquiry. Sorry. I don't think it's ticket.
So will all but item 4-5.041H and item 4-14, number 2H, be engrossed and passed to third reading. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. HB 29, with the exceptions of 4-5.041H and 4-14, number 2H, are passed on, engrossed and passed on to their third readings. Now the two others. Okay, that will be a recorded vote. Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 90, noes 7.
Ayes 90, noes 7. SB 29, with the exceptions of those two items, are passed.
So, Mr.
We do each item individually?
Yes, sir.
First, we'll take on 4-5.04, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, exactly. Mr. Speaker, item 4-5.04, number 1H, page 4 of the amendments. If you're following on that way, that item/amendment is now before the body.
Shall 4.05, number 1H, pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 34.
Ayes 63, noes 34. Item 4-.5.041H passes.
And finally, Mr. Speaker, now we come to the last remaining item amendment pulled out of the block, which is item 4-14, number 2H.
The delegate from Scott County, Delegate Kilgore.
Mr. Speaker, speak to the amendment.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House. This is my 33rd session. Wow. This is the first time I've ever voted on House Bill 29 at this early in the session. Mr. Speaker, I believe this is not constitutional. I believe that we've ignored the constitutional provision of an intervening election to pass this, ignoring Virginia Code Section 30-13, and forcing our clerks to violate a known law, and even going back and retroactively appealing to 1971 this law. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, what we have here, I brought my map. I brought my map, ladies and gentlemen. So we got what we got here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to try to get through this pretty fast. That we've got five congressional districts in Northern Virginia. In Fairfax County, for example. So Frederick County, whoever represents Frederick County, you get to be represented by someone from Fairfax. The rest of the Northern Valley, you get to be represented by the 2nd Congressman from Fairfax. From Augusta through Culpeper down to Cumberland through Powhatan, you get to be represented by the 3rd Congressman from Fairfax. Hanover, King William, Spotsylvania, you get to be represented by the 4th Congressional member from Fairfax. Northern Neck, Middle Peninsula, yeah, you guessed it, you get to be represented by the 5th Congressional District Congressman from Fairfax. Southside, don't worry though, you're not going to be represented by a congressman from Fairfax. Southside, you're okay. From Danville, all the counties bordering North Carolina down through here, you get to be represented by one of the congressmen from Richmond. And Campbell, Appomattox, Prince Edward, you all get to be represented by the other congressman from Richmond. And finally, Lynchburg, down through here, Lynchburg, Bedford, into Montgomery County, you're giving up your congressman to Charlottesville. I don't know that Blacksburg and Montgomery County is going to like that. But, Mr. Speaker, that's what we're looking at here. I'm not sure that anyone looked at Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act that governs these elections. In the 4th enactment clause, Mr. Speaker, we passed a law just a few years back, 24-304.04, that stated that lines should not favor either political party. But guess what? If we pass this bill, you can favor a political party. Enactment number 5 states that if you're going out to get your petitions to be a congressman, it doesn't matter where you could come all the way down to my neck of the woods and get your petition signed for Northern Virginia, or I could go up to Fairfax County and get my petitions signed if I wanted to challenge Congressman Griffith for the 9th District Congressional. I don't want to start any rumors. I'm not going to do that, but I could do that. So you can get these signatures anywhere across the state. And Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure that we even considered Virginia Code Section 30-398, which says all bills embodying plans for districts for the United States House of Representatives, the Senate, and the House of Delegates shall be voted on by the General Assembly in accordance with the provisions of Article 4, Section 11 of the Constitution of Virginia, except no amendments shall be permitted. No amendments shall be permitted. All bills embodying a plan that are approved by the House shall become law, now listen to this, without the signature of the governor, and pursuant to Article 2, Section 6 of the Constitution of Virginia shall take place immediately. So we are violating the Constitution of Virginia by not allowing our governor, to go over and amend or send back and sign House Bill 29, Mr. Speaker. This is something we should worry about. House Bill 30-398. And finally, a couple things, Mr. Speaker, and I'm going to sit down. April 21st, that's when we're setting this election. For a lot of y'all in Virginia, a lot of you all who represent rural areas, a lot of you all who represent suburban areas, this is probably going to be the last important federal vote that you take, because your vote's not going to matter anymore. All that's going to matter is what Northern Virginia wants from now on. That's what we're saying. Not Hampton Roads, not Virginia Beach, not any of those areas. We're going to be governed by what some liberal folks in Northern Virginia want. Mr. Speaker, in Southwest Virginia, we have this saying, and I hear it all the time when I'm out knocking doors or in the grocery store, other places. They say, Terry, you do a good job up there, but Virginia stops at Roanoke. I said, and you have to argue with them on that and say it doesn't. But, Mr. Speaker, that's not going to be the saying anymore, because Virginia is going to stop just a little bit west of Prince William County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Patrick County, Delegate Williams.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, would the patron yield for a question?
Will the patron yield regarding which issue?
The amendment?
Okay, will the patron yield?
No, sir.
The patron will not yield.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Mr. Speaker, speaking to the amendment.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I had several points that I wanted to say, but House Bill 1384 has been signed by the governor, and that is now law, so I won't get into those parts. But House Bill 29 builds on it with appropriations and enabling legislation. So I appreciate the delegates' deep dive into the maps, and it's interesting to me that the same deep dive hasn't happened into the Epstein files, the illegal and unconstitutional actions on behalf of the president, or the impact that H.R. 1 has had on the state budget. But I will be here to address some of the myths that I have heard from the other side of the aisle. And it is because of why we are here today, Mr. Speaker. We are here today on this amendment because President Trump called on red states to find him more seats. The same president that called on an election official in Georgia to find him more votes. And then it's the acquiescent actions on behalf of Republicans that have the majority in their state legislatures, and now also cowardice and hypocritical actions on behalf of the Republicans in the minority and other chambers. So when we look at the fact that now light blue and dark blue states are playing the same game that the president started, now we're aghast. The first time in 30 years. Mr. Speaker, this is the first time I think in our lifetime that we've had to even address an issue on behalf of the actions of the president. So first, let me say, Mr. Speaker, Virginia is part of the United States. Now, some may wonder why I even have to say that, but it's because some of the comments about us just focusing on Virginia coming from the other side of the aisle have just been baffling. I want to remind us what I said before. North Carolina in 2024, because of a heavily gerrymandered state legislature, even though a majority of the voters supported Democratic statewide candidates, the legislature gerrymandered their congressional districts, yielding 3 more seats for Republicans in Congress and giving them the majority that got us snatching food out of hungry children and veterans' mouths, taking health insurance from people who need it, and blowing a hole through the state budget. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, no one wanted to take this kind of action. The Voting Rights Act of Virginia, and the legislation that the gentleman mentioned were carried by me, Mr. Speaker. So I didn't want to be here, but here we are. Literally, we cannot afford to just sit there and let them have the power grab. Number 3, House Joint Resolution, should the voters say yes, is a temporary, one-time redistricting implementation that gives Virginians a crucial voice and meets the needs of the current moment while ensuring that the bipartisan redistricting process will resume. Number 4, some of my colleagues like to say, well, Mr. Speaker, we're not a democracy, we're a republic. And I'm just wondering, were we the only ones that were reading in civics class? Because those 2 terms are not mutually exclusive. We are, our beloved country is a representative democracy, which is a form of republic. And with this, Mr. Speaker, we should absolutely have an expectation that the sitting president won't call to have us find some votes to negate the votes of those that showed up for the election, that a sitting president won't call to have just the red states redistrict in his favor, and thus, because both of those are happening, we are putting the question in front of the people in the Commonwealth to see if they want their representatives to fight back. Mr. Speaker, it's just a few more. For decades, this is number 5, for decades, the same folks, some of the same folks that have been here for longer than I've been alive, are the same folks that drew previous maps behind closed doors, passed them with no public input, no video recorded meetings, and no transparency in the process. Now, they point to the redistricting commission and they say that's the holy grail, while now they are trying to thwart this map. However, Mr. Speaker, the process before us now with this amendment will have the most public input ever that a redistricting process will have, because as we know, Mr. Speaker, that map will not go into effect unless Virginians vote for it to do that. And so we shall let the voters decide. And last, and the most important point, Mr. Speaker, is that it is true, the voters will decide. As he held up that map, it was really interesting to me that we're going to talk about districts. I am talking about Virginians, and the Virginians that were described in that map are these same Virginians that will have their say on April 21st if they want this unconstitutional power grab to happen, to mess up our budget, to mess up their budget, to mess up their lives, or if they want us to fight back with the most public process of redistricting we have ever had. Mr. Speaker, in order to protect those Virginians that we described, I would suggest that we pass this amendment and then pass HB 29 tomorrow. Thank you.
The delegate from Patrick County, Delegate Williams.
Mr. Speaker, speaking to the amendment.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, that was fun. That was a whole lot of emotion, a whole lot of energy. I appreciate that about Delegate Price. But the thing is, like, we've already decided this. Everything she just complained of, Virginia said, we don't want that. And they decided in 2020 when they passed an independent redistricting committee that said 66% of Virginians said, get politics out of our maps. So, like, as much as you sit here and stomp your feet about what Trump did, and about Indiana and North Carolina, none of them have what we have, which is an independent redistricting committee. Just because it's happening now and you don't like it doesn't mean that we should suspend it for 5 years. That's crazy. The reason I asked, what are the 9 protections that we are being asked to waive under this amendment? And I don't know why the delegate refused to answer, but I asked because it's like the Civil Rights Amendment. I mean, it's like geographic, it's like continuity. I mean, it's all the things that anybody would want. You know, I'm lucky. I live in the 9th. My congressman will see somewhere close to me. I mean, just next door, they're going to be represented by Fairfax County. You will be able to drive 11 miles through Fairfax County and hit 5 congressional districts. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Buckingham, Delegate Garrett.
Mr. Speaker, speaking to the amendment.
Delegate has the floor.
Golly, Ned, I said to my colleague about 5 minutes ago, I'm very proud of myself for my restraint. And it just, I'm so tired of being lied to. I think the voters are tired of being lied to. First of all, you want to talk about gerrymandering districts to make sure that I want you to listen closely to my words, to make sure that minorities don't have a voice. Well, that started after the Civil War, and that was a problem, but okay, it's okay now. Second of all, if you want to look at modern history in that practice, way before California, way before Texas, you had Connecticut, Massachusetts, Illinois. I could just keep naming New England. It's been going on forever. But you know where it hadn't been going on, Mr. Speaker? The Commonwealth of Virginia. Now, my colleague across the aisle said, oh, they started it. They did this first. Let me tell you a little bit of history. When I first started running for office, I was always the youngest guy on the ballot. Last time I ran, I was the oldest. I don't think I've said this before, but some of you know I used to serve in that body down the hall. I'm sorry, I got here as soon as I could. When I was there, the majority leader of a 21-19 majority took a technical boundary adjustment and turned it into a gerrymandering bill. Republicans had 60 some odd seats in the House. Sound familiar? Let me tell you how that played out. It came down here, and I believe that the clerk was the same too, to this chamber, and the Speaker of the House, Bill Howell, said that's not how we do things in Virginia. And so the last time somebody tried this in Virginia, it was stopped by Republicans, when it would have benefited Republicans, because we, by gosh, are Virginia, and we don't do it because everybody else is doing it. And you want another example of standing up and doing what is right in the face of political pressure? I promise you that state senators and delegates in Indiana, whose names we don't know, who are Republicans, will either lose their jobs or be put under political pressure by the same White House that you like to excoriate, because they had the courage to do what's right. Now, what I'm asking from you all is that you have the courage to do the same, to rise above, to be the change that we wish to see. This is our moment in time. This is our Commonwealth. The way federalism works is local government does local government things, federal government does federal government things, and state government does state government things. Do your jobs. Don't lie. You're entitled to your own opinions. You're not entitled to your own facts. Virginia has been better. Virginia should be better. Virginia can be better, but alas, I fear Virginia won't be better. It's up to you. 5 short years ago, the members of this body put before the voters of this Commonwealth a question on whether they ever wanted to see this happen again, and 99 out of 100 House districts said no. So don't ever tell me about ignoring the will of the people. And while I stood quickly for an incredibly passionate speech today talking about how courageous it is to stand up against those who have power, who would seek to push marginalized communities out, I find a little irony in that exact same thing happening right now. Our founders said that we should work towards a more perfect union, and the reason the word more is in there is because we'll never be perfect. But that should not stop us from trying to be better. And then those folks in Indiana who may lose their coveted lapel pins because they did what they thought was right, I wish we were a little bit more like them here in Virginia. Just 10 short years ago, when a Republican speaker killed a Republican power grab from a Republican Senate, we were.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Mr. Speaker, speaking to the bill, the amendment.
The delegate has the floor.
Just real quickly, Mr. Speaker, and all this worry about what happened 6 years ago, if you're that confident in your position, just let the voters vote on it, right? Why are we trying to stop it now? Why are we trying to short circuit the process? If you guys are so sure you're right and people aren't going to do this, let's let them vote on it in April. Mr. Speaker, I hope there'll be the pleasure of the body to pass the amendment.
The delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to speak to the amendment.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Usually I will let the first thing that I say stand, but for the second time in a very short amount of days, my emotions have been called into question. And I will say that every single time I speak, I will bring emotion and energy, but especially when I'm watching the news and I see someone shot in the head. Or when I'm watching the news and I see a citizen shot 10 times in the back. I will never apologize for my emotion, but I want to be very logical and clear-eyed in this moment to set the record straight that there are no lies or no tricks. We have indeed drawn this map to maximize the help that Democrats can give from Virginia to the nation to fight back the power grab should the voters give us that say-so. And the courage to do the right thing, Mr. Speaker, does not mean to just lay there and take it. I've heard from my district that the people we serve, for them it means giving them the voice on whether or not we fight back, and so I think that we should do that. But I do just want to make it very clear, Mr. Speaker, we know what we've done with this map, and it is because the president started it, and as a wonderful senator up the hall says, we will finish it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Shall the item pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 34.
Ayes 63, noes 34. The item passes. Now the whole bill is engrossed and passed on to its third reading. Got to say the right words, right, Mr. Clerk? All right.
Continuing with the calendar with that bill dispensed with, we moved 3 of them as well. So we're going back to page 19 of today's calendar to pick up Delegate Siebold's House Bill 109, which is now before you. It seeks to amend and reenact 2 sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Board of Agriculture and Consumer Services, noxious weeds, commercial viability. This legislation for Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, Natural Resources with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Siebold.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 109 updates Virginia's noxious weed designation process by removing the commercial viability loophole and instead allows the regulation of invasive species to be solely based on science. I hope it is the will of the body to engross this bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed the third reading.
Next up, going ahead to page 22, we come to House Bill 459. This is legislation that seeks to amend and reenact a section of the Code of Virginia relating to crime victims' right to non-disclosure of certain information, hate crimes. Legislation for Committee for Courts of Justice.
The delegate from Arlington, Delegate Hope. Is that it? No, Cohen. Cohen again. Oh, dang it. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 459 prohibits law enforcement from disclosing public information of victims of hate crime to the public. Virginia law already prohibits the disclosure of the names of victims of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and family abuse crimes. This would add the same protections for victims of hate crimes. I hope it's the will of the body to engross and pass the bill to its third reading.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading.
And Mr. Speaker, going ahead now to page 32. Page 32, we come to House Bill 1485. House Bill 1485, which is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to maximum number of judges on the Court of Appeals of Virginia, hearings on banc, summary disposition of certain civil cases. Legislation for Committee for Courts of Justice with amendments.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, members of the body, about an hour ago, I presented a bill where we are increasing the number of judges in our circuit courts. We're always looking at our caseload to make sure that our judicial resources match the caseload that's coming their way. So what this bill does is increase the Court of Appeals from 17 to 21. It restructures en banc hearings to no fewer than 13 judges, and it has summary affirmance for certain civil cases. Hope you pledge to the body to engross the bill and pass it on to its third read.
Shall the bill be engrossed and pass the third reading? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and pass the third reading. We need to go back to consider HB 29
as whole.
And as a whole, and the clerk has to open the roll, so people need to take their seats.
Yep. Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry.
The delegate from Scott County, Delegate Kilgore.
So this would be all the amendments on the same bill.
All of the amendment and the entire bill will be engrossed and passed to its third read.
On 29.
On 29.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate
Parliamentary inquiry.
The delegate has the floor.
Again, just because this is the budget bill, even though this would normally be a voice vote, everybody would need to be in their seat so that they could actually take a recorded vote on this bill. Is that correct, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, you're correct. The people that are still walking back to their seats need to be in their seats so they can take a recorded vote.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Shall HB 29 be engrossed and passed to its third read? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 34.
Ayes 63, noes 34. The bill is engrossed and passed to its third reading. Now, right? Okay.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, continuing with today's calendar, a new category, memorial resolutions laid on the Speaker's table. The memorial resolutions to be adopted in block are listed on pages 50 through 51, with the exception of House Resolution 72, which is out of the block.
All those in favor of adopting the memorial resolutions laid on Speaker's table that's listed on pages 50 through 51, except for the one that was pulled from the block of the calendar, shall please rise. The resolution is agreed to.
And final category, commending resolutions laid on the Speaker's table. The commending resolutions to be adopted in block are listed on pages 52 through 55, with the exception of House Joint Resolution 111, which is by for today, House Resolution 74, which is by till February 7th, and House Resolution 76, which has already been dispensed with. The remainder of the bills are in the block.
All those in favor of adopting the commending resolutions laid on Speaker's table found on pages 52 through 55, with the exceptions of H.R. 74, H.R. 76, and H.J. 111 of the printed calendar will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The resolution is agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, that completes today's calendar.
Per House Rule 51, the House has returned to the morning hours. Does the clerk have any additional announcements or communications?
Simply the meeting schedule, which is available online, but for helping everyone get to the right place as we approach crossover next week. The Committee on Finance meeting today is canceled. However, Finance Subcommittee number 3 will be meeting 15 minutes upon adjournment of the House a little after 3 o'clock. They'll be in the House Committee Room B on the second floor. So sub 3 of finance is meeting. Then 15 minutes upon adjournment of the House, the Appropriations, General Government and Capital Outlay Subcommittee is going to meet. They'll be up on the 12th floor. There are going to be 3 subcommittee meetings before the full committee. So we're going to start off 15 minutes upon adjournment with Appropriations, General Government and Capital Outlay. Then once they're finished, then Comp and Retirement Subcommittee of Appropriations will meet. Then after they're finished, Elementary and Secondary Education Subcommittee will be meeting. And then after the 3 subcommittees meet, then the full committee on appropriations, all that will take place up on the 12th floor over in the General Assembly building. The Courts of Justice Criminal Subcommittee will meet 15 minutes upon adjournment of the full committee, which isn't meeting. So I guess once the Finance Subcommittee gets finished, then Courts of Justice will clean that up in the schedule. So Courts Criminal Subcommittee will be in House Room C on the second floor. And then a half after adjournment of the House, the Courts Civil Subcommittee, they'll be down the hall in the North Subcommittee room on the second floor. Courts of Justice is foregoing its time. At 4 o'clock, the ACNR Chesapeake Subcommittee will be meeting there in House Committee Room A down in the lower level. Agriculture, Chesapeake Natural Resources, Chesapeake Subcommittee. At 4 o'clock as well, Privileges and Elections and Election Administration Subcommittee. They'll be on the House South Subcommittee on the second floor. And then finally at 5 o'clock, the Northern Virginia Delegation Caucus will be meeting in the 10th floor committee room, subcommittee meeting room. Looking ahead to tomorrow, February 10th, PNE Campaigns and Candidates Subcommittee is not meeting. So the first meeting looks like it's going to be Education's K-12 Subcommittee. They're at 7:30, House Committee Room A in the lower level. At 7:30, the Conservative Caucus will be meeting. They'll be up on House Subcommittee Room 8 on the 8th floor. At 7:30, the Health and Human Services Health Professions Subcommittee. They'll be meeting in the second floor, House Committee Room C. Then once that subcommittee is finished, then HHS, the full committee will meet. And then once the full committee is finished, then its health subcommittee will be meeting. 7:30 for the sub, and then full committee is at 8:30. Going back in time slightly, Transportation Department of Motor Vehicles Subcommittee is meeting at 8 in the House Committee Room B, and then at 9, once the subcommittee is finished, the full committee will be meeting. All that will be in House Committee Room B, and then once the full committee is done, one of its subcommittees, Transportation Infrastructure and Funding, will be meeting. So they're doing that. HHS is doing their thing. And then finally, Mr. Speaker, the 2 caucuses will be meeting before we go in tomorrow. Democratic caucus will meet at 11:15 in House Committee Room 1. Republican caucus 11. 11 o'clock tomorrow in House Room 2. Mr. Speaker, that's all the announcements. If you didn't get that right, it'll be online and we'll have it all corrected. Thank you.
The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to reconvene tomorrow at 12 noon.
The delegate from Alexandria moves that the House adjourns today and adjourn to reconvene tomorrow at 12 noon. If in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn.
The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring moves that the House do not adjourn. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The House turns adjourned until tomorrow at 12 noon.